Okay, we got another one to do. This one's a magic house. And let's do a bunch of the accessories. This one I got for Christmas from my oldest, and he wasn't sure what it was. It's kind of a mystery miniature that you get. So you get this box and you're like, I wonder what it is. So when I opened it, oh, we got the magic house. Very cool. Looking at the instructions, nice clear pictures. This should be pretty decent. And always, go to that first page because that'll tell you what tools you'll need and what tools they provide. This one does not provide glue. And it's got an interesting lighting system. Haven't tackled that yet, but yeah, you're going to need scissors, knife, tweezers, stuff that you should have handy anyway. I didn't have an awl, but you can just use a wire or something like that. And you'll see later why. But looks like they bundled everything all in one bag, and all the flats are over here. This one, and this is rare, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but these are plexiglass sheets, and that's to make a dust cover. So we get to do that this time. It's kind of nice when that comes with. And then the nice thing is there's a sheet of stickers, so it looks like all the books and things are stickered. That makes it easy. So let's get started. I always start on page 1 just to see what I'm getting into. And I will tell you, these pieces are teeny, teeny, tiny. So if you're used to the row lifes and things like that, that scale, think just slightly smaller. It's small. So I would say this is kind of an advanced intermediate kit if you try to attempt this one. You can see, look at how teeny those are. You're supposed to cut those out. They are small, maybe 2 mil. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to show you cutting this out. So pay attention to what you cut out and what you don't, because on this piece particular, it does look like you could cut out all those little drawers. You don't. You don't cut those out. Those are just faux drawers. But what you do cut out is that side square rectangle there. And I have broken many of these pieces, you're going to see. Definitely cut through on one side and through on the other side and then punch it out. They are not, well, at least mine was attached very well. But that's all you need for this piece. Don't cut out the little drawers or anything like that. And you're going to need that long, skinny piece too. I always have a little pile to the side that you can't see so that I save every single, even the scraps, because you never know if you might need them. Now, as far as glue, everybody asks me what kind of glue I use. I use this Fast Grab tacky glue, the greatest. I use it all the time. And I just put it into a smaller squeeze bottle so that it's more manageable and it has a better nozzle. All right, step 1. We're going to stick this little teeny piece on here and go light on your glue. I'm going to use probably the white glue for the most of these things, unless it's metal on metal or metal on plastic. Then I'm going to go for, I've been using my leftover glue from other kits. It's a white or a clear glue, a clear alcohol glue. But like the Gorilla gel glue is probably the most similar glue to that. Something that's easy. I wouldn't do straight super glue. It's too runny. Use the gel. Use your tools is my only advice for this kit, because you can see here, these are small. And make sure your knives are nice and sharp. This will really, this one put my glue discipline to the test. Try to put tiny, tiny, tiny dots. and then just start gluing them on. There we go. Not too bad. See, we start with something doable. Now we got to make the inside shelf, a little cupboard. So we're just going to cut this out. And I always pre-crease. I went a little bit too overzealous on this one, so it did go all the way through. So if you pre-crease, don't do like me. Don't go all the way through. Use something very dull. I used the back of my knife, and apparently that was sharp too. But it's fixable. But pre-creasing definitely helps you. And we're just going to fold this up like a little box without a lid. Now you're going to see where my pre-creasing was a little too aggressive, but that's very fixable. Just put a little scotch tape on there. This is to the back side and you're not going to see it anyway, so don't worry about it. Alright, now we're just going to glue it to the back. I don't think it matters which way's up, just because that line in the middle, that's where you're going to put a shelf. It's pretty much centered. And just glue it on the back there. You could probably tape it if you wanted to. Like I said, this isn't going to show. Ta-da! Now we got a little shelf here. And all we need to do is put the middle shelf in. And this will make it a little more square too. Okay, this little hourglass, it looks cool when it's done, but oh boy is it frustrating to make. First off, like I said, the scale is way smaller than we're used to. So it's gonna test your dexterity here, and definitely use tweezers when you can. So I'm gonna use my alcohol base glue because it's metal on plastic. If we use our white glue, it's just gonna pop off. It's kind of like using hot glue on plastic. It just falls off after a while. So my original plan, I'm going to just try stacking it up just like they say. So we put our pretty bead there. I'm going to think this through. What I should have done is let these dry completely and then just do another step. Because they were falling apart. The glue was too wet. And then you stack the two on top. Like that. See, looks great from here. If I just hold this here for the next 20 minutes, but no, it's gonna, oh. I got mad at this one. This one got a timeout. So it took me a while, but after I let it dry, and it's one of those, it's straight enough. It's fine, just let it go. And then I'm just gonna cut these to size. So it's about 4 little beads high, and you're going to do 4 of them. Take your time. They're going to be frustrating as heck. And you're going to just stick them all the way around. Yep, that's what's going to happen. And you're going to see a little later on, that little top is going to fall off too. So, I got one. Yay! There's 2. Like I said, it does look really cool when it's done. Oh. This is a good, for me, training me to use my tweezers more. That's for sure. And you can see here that the top fell off. Oh well, we're going to keep going. And just put all four, focus on my thing, not my fingers. There we go. And I'm just going to let this dry once I get that fourth one on there. And I'm going to hold it down here and put the lid back on. And don't touch it. And this is after I let it dry for a very long time. It's crooked. I don't care. It's perfect. I'm glad I made it though. Okay. Talk about tiny. These aren't too bad actually. But you're going to gather a bunch of beads here. And we're just going to cut the little gold beads off the chain. And for this one, we're going to go bead to bead. Again, I'm using the clear glue because I want this to stick for sure. And it is small. This is the first of many, many, many bottles like this. So get used to it. Yep, so here we're going to cut the one bead off. That's going to be the little lid on your bottle. And stick them together. All right, let's do something nice and familiar. We're just going to accordion fold this little guy, and we're going to make a little book. It does have, you can actually read it if you zoom in a lot. Well, kind of. We can do our spells. I like doing these in between some real eye strainers. This is like, I know how to do this. This is nice and easy. It's a palette cleanser for the crafter. All right, back to tiny. So these are going to be candles. We got 3 little beads here. And basically, you're just going to cut some of your wire to length. It looks like it's 0.8 or 8 millimeters, sorry. So we're just going to cut it to size. There's 10 millimeters to a centimeter, right? Easy peasy. And then you're just going to glue it in each of the little beads. And it looks like candles. I might steal this idea for other things. That's why we do these, right? You're learning new skills to use somewhere else. All right, we got our 3 candles, and we just got to glue them in the base here. Because you got to put a little pan under their candles so that we can burn them. Ta-da! Very cute. It looks like candles to me. All right, time for another palette cleanser here. Nice and easy. And these are going to be many, many, many books that we do. I decided, I usually make them all at once, but I decided I'm just going to go and I'm going to make them as I go, as it asks for them, just so that I can keep them straight, because there's a lot of books. Then I know which book goes where. Because if I made them all at once, which you certainly could, I've done it before, you just got to hunt for which one you want. I don't think it matters, though, to be honest. So you probably could mix and match them. And then you got a little witch hat. And all we're doing with the witch hat is sticking a couple little beads on it. And then we're just going to put the 2 things together. Another decoration. What I'm doing here is I'm putting all the same items together. So anything that goes with the cabinet that we're doing, that we made first, and everything that goes in it, I'm going to put it all in a grouping here. I try to organize it. And let's put it all in the shelf. And there we go. One part done. Just a few more to go. Alright, the next set we're going to make is the magic table. This is going to be familiar. We've made tables before, right? So you can see there, I broke part of the piece off. These are very delicate, so don't manhandle them too much. But no problem. Nothing a little white glue can't fix. There we go. Nobody will ever know. Alright, so basically we're going to put the two sides on. Pay attention to inside and outside. And I just realized, no, I did that right. I thought I did it backwards. It wouldn't have fit if, well, this one wouldn't have mattered if you did it wrong. Because it's going to fit no matter what. So these go to the outside of the little long front piece. And then you're going to put the tabletop on. It does not tell you the placement of it, which kind of was annoying to me, but I kind of centered it up. Just somewhere, put it where it makes sense. I gave it a little bit of an overlap, because that's how desks do, right? Now you're going to punch out these little tiny little pieces. Take your time doing them. And it's going to go in between each of these filigrees. You can see there's a little pre-printed design there. So whichever way you decide to do it, just do it consistently. So if you put the little 2 dots at the bottom, that's fine. Just make them all the same. And it looks like it was meant to be that way, right? Because it was. Alright, we got the table done, so you know what that means. We got to do all the accessories that go on top. And the first thing is this little magic wand. You can do this a few different ways, but here's how I did it. So I cut the wand to size. It's about 2.2 centimeters right there. And they wanted you to wind it around your little awl or wire or something. I figured I'm going to cut out the middleman and just wrap it directly onto the little wand. So just wind it up however you want. It's just purely decoration. And then I just clip the end. And then you just glue your little magical orb at the end. And that one's done. Now all the books are pretty much the same, but this one's a little bit different because it's a double. That's the only difference. So you're just going to double up the pieces and then use the coordinating book cover because it's a little bit wider on the spine. Alright, everybody needs a crystal ball, right? So we're just going to glue this piece into there, just like that. Alright, this one's a little interesting. So I started by putting glue in there and then realized I have another step to do. So you're going to take this felt stuff and you're just going to scrape it until you get some floofies. Just enough to fill your bowl. It's supposed to look like, you know, flaming something. It's a little trickier than it looks because this felt is very dense. So just gather enough Grinch fur here and just put it in your bowl. That one's done. Alright, we gotta put it all on our table. So there's a bunch of little maps and things that are very cool here. What I did, because they kind of want it to look, you know, like it's drooped over the table and he's been reading all these things. So I pre-curled everything. I just kind of smushed it and curled it until it looked about right. You could even like bunch it up if you wanted to, however you feel. I decided to curl it all up. And we're just gonna set these on. You can go by the picture. I tried to as much as I could, but just do it however it looks natural to you. And then you just place all your little accessories on. You kind of have to think of the order of how these goes on, because some things you can see overlap, some don't. But honestly, you could put it on this table however you want. And here we go. Another table done. Uh-oh. Yep. Maybe you should have waited for the glue to dry. On to the next. Alright. This one they're calling the Chemistry Experimental Stand. Ooh. Where we put all our potions and bits and bobs. This is pretty much made the same way as the last table. Just a different design. That's all. So we're going to put the two sides on. It kind of looks like a little crib without a back. And we got two little things just like the last one. Just whichever direction you do it, just make sure they're both the same. And then they just kind of go on the edge there. And then put the tabletop on. Again, they don't tell you how far away or anything, but looking at the picture, it looks like it's pretty close to the front. That's what I could go by. So I just kind of did that. Just put it closer to the front there. All right, we're going to set that aside to dry. Looks very cute. We're going to make all the accessories. All right, first we're going to do this little cool thing. I did break some of it. You can see there. So again, be very careful, but I can glue that back on. No big deal. Just save your pieces. And we're going to try to carefully cut this little guy out. You want an extra sharp knife and patience. That's all I can... Number one advice on this kit. So we're just going to cut the last little piece out and we're going to start putting this together. First thing you're going to do is you're going to put this little crystally bead right in the middle. And it does fit. I didn't even glue it. It just kind of snaps in there. I'm going to put the base on. It doesn't say to glue, but I'm going to put a little bit of reassurance and glue those together. Because some of these pieces are very tight. Some are very loose, so just you be the judge. And then you're going to put two side pieces on here. It's like a little gyroscope looking thing. It is cool. And all I can say is on this one, put very teeny pieces of the white glue. And then it'll stick. Well, at least mine is a fast grab. So the less, the better. The faster it dries. And you can stick it right on there. So you don't have to hold it and it'll flop down. Line them up. And there you go. Did I mention how small this thing is? This is tiny. So we're going to make a little test tubes. And I'm going to get cat hair everywhere, it looks like. So you just put the sides on. And it does show that they glue to the outside of the base piece. And then you just glue the little top on. Let it dry, dry, dry before you do anything else. All right, to do these little tubes, you're going to take these little pieces of paper. They are not stickers, which they should have been, I think, but no problem. They're going to go around these long bangle beads. And what I decided to do was to pre-curl them with my needle nose pliers. My very dirty needle nose pliers. It's paint. And just pre-curl it. It saves a lot of mental stability. So I just pre-curled them all and then glued them right on the bead. It looks like it's tricky. The only tricky part is it's teeny. You can see where the pre-curling definitely helps. And just squish them on there. And you're going to do 4 of them. This was the trickiest part because they do not want to stand up straight. So probably what I would do is put a glop of glue at the end of each one of these and use that as your stabilizer. I was trying to do, one line and then put them in there, and they just kind of flopped around a little bit. So maybe glue each one individually. Either way, you're still going to have to kind of play with it and fiddle it with it until they all stand up straight. And there you go, your little test tubes for all your experiments. Booah! Alright, get used to making these little bottles because there's a lot of them. But they're pretty easy. It's just, like I said, the only tricky part is they're teeny tiny. So, I decided to start using my white glue. It's just more forgiving on my fingers because you're going to see that once you start sticking it there, then it's going to stick to your hand and it comes off and then you get mad. So I just went with the white glue. And they're small enough. It should be okay. And for all the gold stoppers is from this this chain. It's kind of like the beads for Mardi Gras kind of thing. So you just cut off what you need. Kind of nice because they don't roll all over the place. You don't lose them. And then stick it on. There's one potion. And we're going to make another one the same way. Just, it's a white bead this time. And then we got the little baby one. Yeah. I definitely am glad I flipped to the white glue because this would have glued to my hand. You can see it's tricky. Get up there. There we go. Ta-da! This one's easy. You're just going to glue these 2 pieces together. You got yourself a little cool orb thing. After all that eye crossing, let's do something easy. So we're just going to accordion fold this little guy. And now we're going to make the book cover. So we're just going to do it just like do you remember putting book covers on your textbooks in school? Yeah, it's kind of like that. So we're going to cut this out and then fold the edges in. And then we're just going to put the 2 things together. And you got yourself a little book. I did, after a while, I glued some of the pages together just so that it would open up how they wanted it to look on the table. Not all the pages, but some of the bottom ones. It just wouldn't lay flat. Now you're going to make a little pencil. That's what I'm thinking this is. And all you do is you just kind of scrape the black part off of the wires here. Very carefully, because we're using a sharp knife, so be careful. And we're going to just kind of glue it on the book here. This glue, for me, it dries clear, so no worries there. I do clean it up a little bit. Ta-da! Alright, let's start placing things on the table. So we got 3 of the little posters. They're all very cool. One looks like it's got a squid monster on there and things like that. Just kind of lay them on there. We have a very messy wizard. Then we're going to place all the rest of our stuff here. So we can do all of our scientific in quotes, experiments. Ho, ho, ho. It's nice that they give you pictures of the stages that you should do them in so that you got your layers going right. And so here's our last ones. Gotta put our book in our little crystal ball thing on there. Very cute. And like I said, you can put them anywhere you want. Something like that. Alright, now we got a little magic cabinet. This one, now making the cabinet itself is perfectly fine. It's all the accessories inside that's it's gonna be fun times. So the shelf, it's pretty straightforward. And it's nice that they have lines on the side so that you can line them up. So what we're going to do is put the top on, and then we're going to put the two shelves in. And I am using white glue for this one. Once you make your big letter E, you're going to put it right on top of this. It's the back piece. And it should line up. Once you got that on there, then you're going to put that last siding on. I do like the instructions on this one. It does give you step by step by step. And then you put the little topper on there. Now when I glued, I accidentally glued that middle piece and realized, oh, that's going to show. So easy enough. We'll just wipe that off. It dries clear. We'll never know. Alright, we got our cool little Gothic shelf. Now let's make all the stuff that goes inside. Alright, I gathered all my parts and pieces that I needed. I had to hunt them all down. But the first thing, when I was looking at the picture, I noticed that you needed a picture of the butterflies, and that's way in the beginning. So we'll do that first. And it couldn't be easier. Just put the two pieces together. There you go. Done. Yeah, that's why I try to group them all together. 'Cause the things that go with things. If that made sense. And of course, you're going to make a couple books. So might as well make those too. Another thing you're going to do a lot is make these scrolls. Sometimes it seems like a shame because these pieces of paper are really cool. But you're just going to roll them up and glue them into little tubes. And for this part, we're just going to make 2 of them. Alright, now's your time to make a bajillion, well, maybe like 5 or 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10 little bottles. So just put the 2 and 2 together. I decided to make the bottles first, and then once those were put together, I put the little labels on, the ones that needed them. And what I always do is see how tiny those things are. I don't cut them out until I absolutely need them because they will just get lost. But then I realize, oh, I need 2 more bottles. So we'll do those two, and then we'll tackle the labels. We're just avoiding it, aren't we? And here, I'll show you where I put them all. There's all our little bottles just sitting there to dry. Okay, now it's label time. They're relatively dry, so just tiny bit of glue, went a little overboard there, and then stick your tiny little label on. And I think if you put them on the wrong bottle or whatever, I don't think it matters. You're fine, as long as they're on there. It is very cute, though. You get a sense of accomplishment when you get these all done. Alright, we got our little shelf. You can see the glue dried. Can't even tell. And we're going to stick all our bottles on there. You thought the little beakers and things were hard. These, oh my goodness. Yeah, I was struggling keeping all these bottles upright. So how I did it is I put the most forward bottles first, and you can see them falling already, and then did the back end. It took me a while to get these to stand upright. Make sure that middle shelf is level. Yeah, you can see I put the ones that you see in the front first, and then you kind of have to put them in from the back because of the ledge in the front, but and then just build it up forward. See, they fall down all the time. Patience, patience. Once I finally got that top shelf relatively good enough, then we're going to put a few more bottles at the bottom here. And then it asks for a couple books and then the picture in the back there. These are easy enough. At least they stand up straight. And there you go. And we definitely do these before we put them in the project, because I can't even imagine trying to put those bottles in that shelf when the whole project is put together. It is not going to be a fun time. So we're doing this now. Now we're going to make a little plant desk. I'm naming it that. And this one is a little different from the other ones because it's got a drawer. But easy enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the front side. This is where the drawer goes. So we're building the desk part first. And then we're going to put the two sides on. These are a little trickier than the other ones because it's got little legs. But you can do it. And just like the other pieces, they have little decorative things there. And then we'll put the top on. Just make sure the little printing is on the top, because it looks like a slab of wood just stuck on there. And the drawer is pretty easy. It's just a box, and it's got a piece of paper on the bottom as the bottom of the drawer. For the drawer pull, it's just a couple of these little pieces. Don't lose those strands of little gold circles, because you keep using them here and there. Just need two. I suppose if you lost this, you could use any long little bead that you have as a drawer pull. You could even use a round bead. Doesn't matter. Just so that our little wizard can open his drawer, right? And then put the two together there. But we're not going to glue it in. It's kind of loose because we're going to stick some stuff in that drawer. So we're just going to set this aside for now. Alright, so we're going to make this little mossy crystal ball thing. Now I realized I used this bead over here when it should have been over here. But that's okay, because I have a ton of beads, and I'm sure in here I have something that might work. No, that one's too big. There we go. It's a little more yellow, but you know what? I think this is going to work. Close enough. And we're just going to start gluing these together. Now, how I decided to do this is I'm going to glue the top onto the bead first. Let that dry, so we're not struggling with it, stacking them up. And then I'm going to do the base, the two bottom pieces. Because I don't know if you've ever tried to stack up beads like this with everything all stacked up. It's going to topple over like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So I did those two. And you can tell time went by because my nails changed. And you literally need breaks with these sometimes. So now that those two are dry, and it's going to be much easier to work with. And all I need is some moss in the one. And then stick the two together. Ta-da! Alright, now we're going to make like little bundles of herbs, I guess. So you're going to use this, it's a pattern, and you're going to put it on the little crepe paper that they gave you. They gave you just enough. And it's a tiny little piece, and you're just going to cut it, and you're going to make two little pieces. And then you're going to cut a bunch of leaves off of this little guy. So cut out about 5 of them, and then I'll show you where it's going to go here. So we're going to roll this tiny little piece here into a kind of a cone shape. Do your best. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then what you're going to do is put a bunch of leaves in there. I kind of just put a bloop of glue in there and just jammed a few in there. And you're going to make 2 of those little lettuce wraps. Alright, we got 3 more scrolls. We know how to do this. Roll them up. And we have these little sealed notes, and all you do is just fold them in half and glue them. Can't be any easier. It's gonna feel like deja vu. We've made this before. Kind of has a different base though. So you're gonna use one of these little beads again. And then we're just gonna glue the base on. Sometimes with the teeny tiny ones, it's a little easier. So I glued that on and then I glued the other piece on and it just kind of stuck there. I'm gonna keep holding on to the bead, the main bead, and then glue the very bottom there, just like that. Ta-da! And it wants us to fringe up this little piece of burlap here. And you can, it says take about 2 or 3. You can take as many as you want. It doesn't really matter. It's just going to get thrown on the table there. I tried to make it a little even. Alright, so we're going to make this little plant stand. It's a double book this time. Been there, done that, right? You can always tell when I do things. Just go by the color of my nails. The sparkly disco nails are much later. And just shows that you gotta sometimes just set your project aside. Take a break. Come back. Fresh and new. And what we're going to do on this one is, with this little rivet snap thing, is we're going to glue some moss onto it and then glue our little plastic plant on there. Now because of that little bump up in the middle here, my plant didn't set how I wanted it to. So what I ended up doing is kind of cutting it in half and then kind of gluing it around the little bump in the middle, and it looked better to me. You can do it however. There we go. That looks a little better. And then you're just going to glue the 2 pieces together. Alright, we gotta make some plants. There's not a whole lot. A lot of it is pre-made plastic plants, but there's a few things that we have to do. So to find the pattern for this, it's in the very back of the book here, right there. So we're going to cut that out so that we know the size of our little green pieces. Once you have all these cut out, now on to the next step. Now I'm just using a long needle here. Any kind of wire will do. And all you're going to do is kind of twist it around your wire. I'll tell you that from the first time to the last time you do one, you get really good at it. So I'm just going to put some glue along the edge and twist it up. And once you get to the end, you just pull it off your wire. I'll twist it up. You can see how loose I did the first ones. And then you're going to wrap it around your wire again, just to make a curly Q. So we're just going to curl it up like this, and then take it off. Ta-da! And you're going to make 11 of those. And here's after I've made a million trillion of them, and I started getting really good at it. So just twist, 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 twist. And wrap it up. And these do not have to be perfect because they're just, you know, creepy vines, weird plants. Little green worms or whatever. We'll set them aside, and now we're going to make this first spooky plant here. So you're going to take another rivet and just fill it with moss. And then you're going to glue about 5 of these little twisties on there. I just kind of glued them on, not worrying about the placement too much. I just wanted, my main goal was just to have it glued to the base. And then I let it dry completely. And this is after I let it dry, so I can now kind of twist these little guys up or down however I want. And so I just kind of arranged it to something that looks cool. And then you're just going to take these little beads off the bottom. They're like foam. Just take a bunch off here, and then you're going to glue it to your vines. And you could put as little or as much as you want. I just kind of put some blobs of glue here and there and just stuck them all over. Turns out really cool. And we have another plant here. This one's pretty simple. So we're going to take this, there's this pink flower, and we just want some of the bottom leaves. So I just cut those off. I left a little bit of a stem so I can kind of glue it into the pot. And then you're going to glue your little creepy vines on here. They do stick on there pretty good. And again, I just did willy-nilly. Don't worry about, you know, if they're twisted in the right direction or anything like that. I let this dry and did just like the last one, and then I kind of manipulated it a little, arranged it, I guess. Yeah, you'll see this one just wants to flop all over the place. So I just kind of set it in there and just let it dry. That's what it wants to do? Fine. We'll just leave it alone. And here it is after it dried, and I was able to just twist it up so it makes more sense. Very cute. Or scary. Alright, now we get to place all the stuff that we made into our desk. So we made a bunch of those envelopes, and we made a lot of them. I didn't use them all, but I'm going to save them to see if I can place them here and there around the finished product. But so they wanted you to put a few envelopes in the drawer. And then you're going to put your scrolls in there. I put a couple sticking up and one laying down. Like I said, it's a very messy wizard. Alright, and then we're just going to place our stuff on top. Always work from the bottom up, so we got to put our little cloth on first. And we have a bunch of these little plant papers that we punched out, and we just place those all willy-nilly. And then all of our stuff. And then they want you to place a little pot on its side like it dumped out. Easy enough. You just put the little pot there, and then you put some moss just all spilling out from the pot. We got our little plant bundles, and then we got to put the drawer back in. And this time I did glue it. So we just kind of glue it a little bit open so the stuff sticks out. And there we go. It's the last of the little furniture pieces, at least. Phew, we did that part. Decided to do a few more pieces. Just, you know, the more you can get done now, the better later, right? And this one's just a picture frame. So we're going to stick the two pieces together here. And this one's a little different because we're going to, it's kind of like a topiary, a little bit. Topography, I guess. Is we're going to do the dark green moss on the bottom. I tried to go by the map, but you can't, you know. Throw this on, and then you're going to put a little bit of the light green on top. There you go. We made our own map. Looks cool, though. Also, when we were cutting all our crepe paper out, we ended up making a couple of these little bushes, so might as well do them. You know, we got it all cut, right? So all it is it's folded in half, and then folded in half again, and then we're going to fringe it. Next, we're going to roll it up, and then poof it out like little pom-pom. And then we're going to make two of these, and then we're going to, lastly, we're going to put some of these little yellow bits, just like we did the purple one, but it's yellow. And they had this little accessory here. Might as well. We've made books. We've made the letters or the envelopes before. Same thing. We're just going to put these two things together. These didn't go on any of the tables, but, you know, since we're in the book and letter and everything mode, we might as well do these. And you're just going to kind of stack them up all crooked and things. However, it looks good. And that part is done. Don't lose it, because I could. And this was another piece that didn't kind of really go with any of the furniture, but it is a little involved. We're going to make a scale, basically, and it looks like it could be tricky. It's not. Don't worry about it. So we got this rivet, and we're going to stick this little black piece on here. There we go. And then we got this little crimp bead thing, and we're going to open it up. This is where our scales are going to sit on. I really did kind of dread making this, but it ended up to be one of the easier things to make. So we're going to straighten it out. It looks like a little bikini top. And then you're going to stick it right in the middle there. Now I debated to let that dry or not, because I was thinking, oh, these are going to tip. You literally have to do these two pieces at the same time because it is balanced. So I'm going to use my clear glue, alcohol based. It's metal on metal. You're going to want to. Now the moment, whether I do it now or wait for it to dry, I'm going to stick it on carefully at the same time. We got it. Let it dry. I didn't stick, yeah, because there's a weight and some gold on it. I'm going to let that dry. This is after some time has passed. So we're just going to, it looks really neat. So we're just going to put the weight on one side and then the gold chain on the other. He's measuring his gold out. There you go. Got a little scale. Very cool. You also have a little cane here. So you're going to cut these little pieces out. These pieces are so small, and just, you know, take your time, do your best. Now, you can notice I didn't cut it out perfectly, and that's half on purpose, half that, you know, you just get tired of trying to do it. But I'm going to glue these on, and I did let it dry. And then my little trick is I'm going to just either X-Acto the edges to make them flush, or you can do like I did, and I use my emery board and just kind of sand the edges like you're doing your nails and make it smooth. And there you go. You got a little cool staff. Thou shalt not pass. And we have a few newspapers. It's just literally, they even give you dotted lines. So you fold it in half and fold it in half again. And you got 2 of them. And why not? Let's do this one too. This one's kind of a funny little accordion fold. Kind of like a, ooh, do you remember Harry Potter, the Marauder's map or whatever it is? So you're going to just fold this up, and I did pre-crease it. All right, we did it. We made all the furniture pieces. Hoo-wee. It was a lot. And a lot of teeny tiny things. So we made a lot of the plants. There's a lot more, and they'll be in the next one. But we made a desk. We made a cabinet. We made a little shelf. And of course, the little plant one. Oh wait, we got one more. The one with the magic wand. Ooh. We got lots more to do. I think this is going to be just a 2-parter because we're going to build the house and put it all together. So stay tuned for the next one. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss them. And I'll see you later. Bye.